welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 475. This show is brought to you by Primary Arms, VZ Grips, and Walker Defense. In this show, we will be discussing a bullpup AR, Vulcans, another mini red dot, and Q-Bert. As you may know, we showcase guns, gear, and anything else you may be interested in. We do our best to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm Chad Wallace, and with me tonight we have everybody, Tony, Rob, and Rusty. And since Rusty is here, he gets the first VZ Grips sponsor.
But look at there, VZ Grips has been manufacturing handgun grips since 2003. With a reputation for quality, consistency, and innovation, top-tier manufacturers choose VZ Grips. They come in a variety of style, pattern, colors, and manufactured from proprietary G10, micarta, carbon fiber, or polymer. Available from a variety degree of texture, VZ offers a wide range of grips for all different firearm types. VZ Grips are made in the USA. VZ gives you the grips you can count on. Featured grip of the week is the 1911 VZ ETC Frag.
Yeah, it's like
here.
It's a combo grip. It's got the little square frag pattern in like a half circle, and then the other part looks fairly smooth.
Yeah, I like that. I tell you what, you know what I really like about VZ is, man, the color options.
Oh yeah,
it's really not even the texture. It's like anytime you look at it, they got just they have so many different color options that you can trick out your pistol. I mean, the black cherry. I mean, you can like stand out no matter where you're at.
Yeah, they. What does it say? They have 25 textures and 27 different colors.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't have to be the walnut guy. You don't have to stand there and be the walnut guy. I mean, the black and gray, or, you know, I mean, the carbon fiber, or, I mean, dirty olive. Hell, I mean, that's Rob right there. He's going to be on a cruise next week. That's going to be his nickname. Dirty olive. I mean.
God, I love you, Rusty.
Oh, that's great.
You guys were picking on me. You hated me.
That's right. So,
no, we got nothing but love for you.
Nothing but love for you, baby.
You love me. I hate to see how you treat your daggum enemies.
Oh, much better.
VZ, but really, after talking to the guys at VZ at SHOT Show, man, I really did. They were so nice, and they had a lot of grips. And me and Tony sit there, and we tactically fondled all their grips there. We were until you put your hands on VZ grips, you really don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, that's
and Chad always has those aggressive grips that we sit there and talk about. They're just the meat grinder. But they have some really nice grips, and they have them for just about anything you need. And I'm fixing to order a set for a Taurus 85 I have. And just cause, I mean, it's not like it flies out of my hand, just cause it's cool. And I like them. But if you go to vzgrips.com, use the coupon code GGR15, get 15% off your handgun grips and rifle grips at vzgrips.com.
Nice. So, let's see here. Did you guys do anything in guns this week?
I did.
Sweet.
I did. I actually took I got a set of pups I got here a while back. I got some Walker Cur mix, and it's getting to be training season for pretty soon. It's going to be training season for wild hog and bear. But I took them out because it's opening weekend for squirrel, for our spring squirrel season, and I let them loose, and I took out my little dedicated AR-22, and I run those suckers around. I have a little Bowers Group 22 on there, and I was seeing how they were with gunfire. And the little guys didn't stutter one bit out there with gunfire going off, and they were just all over the place. I was really proud of them. They did pretty good until they got around the cows. And hey, they tracked down a calf that I found out there. That's when they really started barking. We had a new calf born that morning, and they found it. So about lost a dog, mama cow. But other than that, yeah, well, we did some shooting out there. It was pretty good.
Nice.
So,
Nice. Tony?
So I hosted diversity shoot. That was a lot of fun. Actually, I was just going through some pictures that someone else took at the diversity shoot, which was really cool. We had the guys from CNJFO out. We had a mix of people, ladies, gentlemen. It was pretty cool. But one of the coolest photos we took is this one. Let me see. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see here. Oh, that's pretty cool. Muzzle flash.
Yeah. The muzzle flash is ridiculous off of the only AR pistol that we can actually have in New Jersey. Came out of, what's the name of the place in Vegas? They closed down for a while. They opened back up. They make the AR semi-automatic pistol, but it doesn't have a handguard on it. It weighs like 50 ounces.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but
anyway, they make that, and two of our guys have those. So, young lady was able to shoot it. We were all videotaping it. It was pretty cool because with a 6-8 inch barrel, whatever it is, 5.56 just sounds like wow. So that was fun. Also, I shot in the police combat course, and I was exhausted because you guys know I'm doing the freaking spread the word about the diversity shoot, and I've been on shows like every day last week, like ending at like midnight 11, and then I did diversity shoot, got home at 1. So by the time Friday came around, hey man, I'm not as young as I used to be. I was exhausted. I go in to shoot the event, and I shot my lowest score yet, which was like a 389. And I'm doing iron sights, 22 rimfire. Well, one of the guys showed up with a freaking target model of a Ruger Mark 1 with like a 1.5 inch trigger, like 8 inches of freaking sight radius, and he scored like a 550. I was like, well, I guess I got my butt kicked this time. And they were like, hey, we're going to run 2 more relays. So I sucked it up and I ran 1 more, and I scored my highest score yet, which was 454. So we're waiting because they have somebody new doing the scoring. So I want to see whether I place higher than 7th place this time around. So it was a lot of fun. I'm trying to convince other people to go to your local ranges and get in on your outlaw matches. It only cost me $10 to get in on this match, dude. $10, and I fired like 120 rounds or less of 22 long rifle. But I had fun. I got to hang out with other guys. They have other guns. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. And you just meet a group of gun owners that are using a firearm for sport. So I encourage you, go out and do it, man, because everybody's helpful. Nobody's there goofing on you. You know what I mean? Like the first event I showed up with a high point pistol.
Yeah. Because
that's what I had extra ammo in, because I wanted to be careful with my 9 because we were using it for diversity shoots. Nobody said poo about that high point.
Yeah, that's so, like when I was going to say, like when people want to get into like action shooting with handguns and stuff, I always say shoot some speed steel / steel challenge, because there's a 22 class if you want it. You can shoot carbines in 22, and so you can basically shoot anything you want. There's no movement technically. It's just, but it's still an action sport. So same kind of thing. It's like you can take anything out there. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Like local matches are like $10-15 around here. So, same type of deal, Tony. I didn't go shoot anything though.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking it's really important that we as gun owners start using your firearms besides that thing that's in the closet, or like intellectual exercise. Yeah, I got a gun and I'm going to fight for that right. And it's like, no, bro, you have a gun. You should take it out and shoot it and get good with it and be comfortable with it, and maybe meet some new friends around it.
Yeah.
And that way, not only are you using this thing, but you've met people that also want to testify. Maybe. And now all of a sudden you find yourself in your state capital talking about your rights and fighting for them. instead of just enjoying them.
Or you're getting Tony on live broadcast to talk about what he does in New Jersey for Oregon. Though,
Oh, yeah, right.
though
Yeah.
I do want to say thanks for doing that, Tony, because Derek said you were going to be on, and I actually caught some of it, but I was like, oh, that's a good person. So,
Yeah, dude, I'm really grateful for Derek for having me on. Derek from Kid Safe is actually doing the grassroots two-way advocacy in his home state.
which happens to be my state too.
Yeah, your state. So, there's good and bad in every state.
Yep.
But it's awesome because people are doing it on their own, man.
Yep.
They're getting involved in advocacy. So, all right, this is not the show for
Yeah.
that, but I wanted to give kudos and shout outs because without people fighting for it, this will go away.
Exactly. So, Dirty Olive, did you do anything?
God.
Oh, you
Pass.
jackass.
Let's get on. Let's move this little cluster on the road, man.
Okay. So you didn't do anything. I did not do anything really. I did take so on that Strike Industries chassis I have, the modular chassis for the 320, I had this Zafuri slide in it because it's a compact slide, and
Did you say furry?
Zafuri, precision.
I didn't know if you got that from Rob.
Yeah.
Dirty Olive.
And so because it's a review slide, I had it on that, and I needed to put it on a pistol frame. So I did put it on a pistol frame, put the Swamp Fox optic I have on there. So that's about all of the extent of what I actually did in guns this week. So
Oh,
yes.
by the way, I own the Target Radio Sunday. I was also on San Diego Gun Owners radio show Sunday. So I had 2 radio shows on Sunday. I was on the Weekly Bullets Saturday with the Second Amendment Society. And I forget where else I was on because I'm exhausted.
Yeah. So, bandwidth sponsor is, as you know, our buddies over at Patriot Patch Co. And they have their cool Patch of the Month Club. Every month you get a patch, a sticker, and a sketch card. Of course, because it's Memorial Day weekend, you get the, cool little patch with, an M1 carbine and some version of an M4. It's not quite what I would put on there. But they're cool. Do go check them out. They have all kinds of cool stuff over there, as you probably know. Metal signs, who knows, mouse pads. Oh, wait, they call them cleaning pads, but you get the idea.
I got one on the wall right there.
I got a cleaning pad right here below the keyboard, so,
I got the 4 gun rules of safety on the wall.
Yeah, that's the one I got here, too. Sometimes I take pictures on it and post them on the internet.
My little boy reads it
Yeah,
every
sweet.
day when he comes in.
Sweet. So, if you want our t-shirts, click the merch tab at firearmsinsider.tv. That's the best place to get them. It takes you right to where you order them. There's also tons of affiliates and discount codes. They're in the show notes. They're on the YouTube video. They're on the website. So please use them, and we appreciate people that use them. Thank you. Now, because Rob said we're going to need this for the listener feedback, it's all yours, Dirty Olive.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and/or their employers. This is not legal advice, nor should it be considered as such. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on live shows. And since we don't have a main topic tonight, the product spotlight is sponsored by Walker Defense Research. Walker Defense provides shooters with the finest, most innovative quality tactical accessories and firearm components around. From their Nile grip panels to their Nero muzzle brakes, no details are ever left behind. Only top quality materials are used in the manufacturing process. Together, all of this gives you some of the best firearm performance around. Everything they have to offer is proudly made in the USA. Walker Defense, where American ingenuity meets bleeding edge technology. Our product of the week is the FDE Nile grip panels. Remember to visit Walker Defense Research at walkerdr.com and use the code INSIDER15 for 15% off everything at walkerdr.com.
Nicely done, Rob. Nicely done.
Now, Chad, you want to talk about the Reap Weaponry's SCY?
Yes, and they actually sent me the pronunciation, and it's Psy. So Psy, like just like the grass cutter the Grim Reaper carries around. Yeah. So yes, that's what it is. MSRP is $499.99, and for those that don't know, this is a bullpup chassis style system for an AR-15 rifle. Yeah, that explains that part of it. So it converts your standard upper lower combo into a bullpup chassis, and so it uses your lower. So as Rob mentioned, if you have an SBR, you can put this on there and it doesn't change registration or anything, but it says not to use any barrel length below 11 inches. So if you have a 12.5-inch SBR or something, this would be awesome for it. So it is M-Lock Keymod compatible. Of course, you can set it up ambidextrous if you want. Still uses mil-spec components. It weighs 12 ounces by itself. It does relocate the trigger interface or the trigger 9 3/4 inch forward more. And it uses a linear trigger system, so you don't get any weird feel or play in it. It's basically a straight pull system. It does says less than 1.5 pounds to the trigger weight. They say it's recoil rated up to 50 Beowulf, so pretty much any AR you have, it should work with. Of course, it's made in the USA, and it is adjustable, so it will fit aftermarket triggers. So if you have a precision trigger or something in your AR, it should still work. Of course, components are CNC machined, and they are made from polymer, aluminum, or I think that's about it, is from what I was reading. Yeah. Constructed of polymer 5052 and 6061 aluminum. And let's see, and the way it mounts is pretty cool. I was watching it and looking at it, but you take your pistol grip off, it mounts where the pistol grip goes. It wraps around your lower receiver, which it says it doesn't work with like milled receivers. It's basically forged standard AR-15 lower receivers that also has a trigger guard that is removable, but it says you don't have to remove the trigger guard. So I'm guessing it uses it to help clamp on it somewhere for some reason, but I don't have one in front of me to know.
What's that?
It says you need a mil-spec lower with removable trigger guard.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping I'm not missing anything. Of course, it comes with mounting hardware. And so I saw this and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And literally the magazine goes behind you. Of course, some of the safety and stuff like that are still in somewhat the same places. Of course, it's a little different manual of arms, but it's now a bullpup, so that's kind of a given. It works with all kinds of buffer tubes, buffer systems. So like if you have the Law one that doesn't take a buffer tube, you can make it even shorter, and like Tony and Rob and I were talking earlier, you could put, if you wanted it really short and had one of the bufferless systems, you could put like one of the Timber Creek, like bolt-on stocks pieces, just put it right up there on the end of the receiver, and you'd have a super short one. So if you need a length to pull, there's some other systems out there we think it would work really well with. Also,
so I was talking about using this thing. What I've noticed is when we brought in the high tower armory chassis and put it on the High Point 995 carbine, what that did was shift the weight of the carbine from being front end heavy to bringing the weight back into the shooter's shoulder. So that made it easier for smaller statured women's kids to hold the gun steady when they were shooting it. Because understand, a lot of the people I'm dealing with are shooting a gun for the first time. Also, I live in New Jersey where you can't adjust the length of pull. I mean, if you buy something with an adjustable stock, you have to put it on whatever, and it has to be pinned there. So we're pretty much fixed stock. With something like a bullpup, you're not as dependent on that because the length is what the length is. I mean, the Helion has an adjustable stock, but I really haven't seen anybody use it in any of the reviews. They were like, it's adjustable, but serves no purpose. This thing, I'm looking at the videos they have of it, and they have like PDW stocks attached to it. And the one guy budgeted something or bargained something. I forgot his name. I watched a review. He said, I shoot at the shortest length. It's collapsible. He has a 14.5 PSA upper, pin and welded to 16. He had like a couple of different larger controls from what you call it, something flight. They make quality accessories. Control flight. I can't think of the name. Anyway, it's one of the smaller manufacturers that's known for making quality accessories. He has those on there, and it looked like it was a pretty good system. If you're not dedicated, like you're not like everything on my AR has to work the same way, this can work for you. I look at it like the mags are the same as your ARs. It's shortened it. All of a sudden, you have something that's the size of an SBR, but it has a 16-inch barrel. You don't have to worry about filling out paperwork for SBR. You don't have to do the non-NFA firearm, and you still have something that's overall length of like 26, 27 inches. I think it's pretty cool, and it only adds 1.5 pounds to your trigger pull. So hopefully they get one out to me. I'm kind of excited so we can check it out. And if it runs well and if it's not quirky, I'll gladly bring it to the diversity shoots because we introduce a lot of people to firearms at these events. And even if you like build ARs like all four of us do, it's something different that you can build an AR with. I mean, we all have extra lawyers laying around. And you put it in, you pick up a trigger. You can use a mil-spec trigger. You can use one of the better than mil-spec triggers from somewhere like ALG or LMT, or even PSA has one of their triggers that's coated. So there's ways to build this up and do it even in a budget way, a budget manner over a period of time. But I say you jump right on something like this. Hopefully they send me one so I can give you some idea, and hopefully it works as well as the ones did from Hightower Armory because I've been using them for how many years now and have had no problems with them.
Yeah, that's the thing is, if you like bullpups, this is cool. I actually think it looks decent, and having the straight pull trigger system, trigger bars or whatever they're using in there, using standard AR safeties, they did it how the correct way, and the trigger bar I guess is adjustable, which makes it so depending on where your trigger sits, and that's why you can use flat triggers, curved triggers, aftermarket triggers, all of that stuff works with that. It seems pretty cool. I hope it kicks off if people enjoy it, and that's kind of my thoughts on it. I'm not as big into bullpups as Tony is, but for somebody like Tony that takes different rifles and different pistols and stuff and introduces different all kinds of people to them, something like this is a good idea because it would be like, yeah, it's an AR-15, but
Now, I just checked out when one of the guys in the comment section commented on the podcast on YouTube. We already have an AR, a bullpup AR. It's called a Tavor. Understand what this is, though. Like, again, a lot of us have 2, 3, 4, maybe even more ARs. This allows you to take that one you don't use much and turn it into a bullpup for $4.99. And if it's an AR you already have, it's an AR build you already did, you're not buying anything new except this chassis and check it out. What's a Tavor run? 17?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, unless you built, like some of my stuff is PSA builds, some of my stuff are Arrow Precision builds. I have a Saber Defense build. So, yeah, I mean, I have some that are a little more expensive, but I also have Bear Creek,
Well, and like with the PSA guns, catch some of those sales, and you can get a complete 16-inch AR for $400. You know, the right time of year, and put something like this on it. And so you have a bullpup that's $900 instead of $1,700.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, less the bulk of a Tavor. Because, you know, we all know they're kind of bulky with, you know, the width and the heights and everything. And plus, if you don't like it, you take it off, you throw it in a box, and you sell it to a buddy at a gun show down the road.
That's
also your Tavor is not going to be as swappable as your AR. It's not going to take the same trigger. It's not going to take the same. It will take the same mags, but it won't take the same parts. You can change your barrel length on this. You can get paperwork done in SVR. Like, you can play that game with the Tavor, but we're talking big money when you try to do that with a Tavor. You can do this real easy with an upper that can get nailed to your house.
Yeah,
I like this. I looked at it, and the Delrin parts they use inside. I used to be a machinist, and I machined a lot of Delrin stuff for a lot of companies. And the Delrin stuff is not going to bind up with the aluminum they used. It's impregnated. It's self-lubricating. This thing is going to run smooth, I hope. The way they got it positioned in 3 different places, it's pretty well supported for the trigger bar. I like that it uses all of the AR safety levers. It runs the regular AR triggers, safety, plus it does the actual, it'll run the 60-degree throw safeties. Sorry, my TV decided to go crazy. But it looks really nice. It's got a good setup going to it, and I think it's cool. Plus, you know, if you're looking for a truck gun or something short, you put a small can on it, and man, you got a good home defense gun right there for not a lot of money, and or a small truck gun, backpack gun, or something to that effect. And especially if you got a 9mm build like the Montgo 9, is that what that is that they got out?
Yeah.
You throw that on there, man. You got a cool little piece right there.
They did say that right now it won't fit, of course, AR-10s, but AR-9 specific lower receivers. But if you're running like an endo mag, yeah, you run an endo mags, it should work fine, and something like that. You know, I thought that was a pretty good tool, and I didn't think about what you said about like a home defense thing, because like with a home defense rifle, I mean, you pretty much pick it up and go. Whatever's in it or on it is what you're using. You know, it's like you got one 30, 40 round magazine. It's not like you're carrying another one. So
yeah, I mean, you put something like the Bowers Group War Dog on there, that short
3-inch, yeah,
you've got it covered. You don't have a lot of cans sticking out there. Plus, you've got a full length barrel. You're burning all that powder up. You're not blowing your ears out. You can run a gun. You can move around the house with it, and you're good. So,
yeah.
Oh, hey, there you go. The AR-10 variants, it works. There you go, man. Hey, build you a 14-inch or 12.5-inch
308
AR-16. Yeah, 308. I don't know what I'm saying. Hey, I've drank too much already. So,
all right. I mean, I'm just thinking about that flamethrower in the house for self-defense.
Yeah. Hey, watch it, Rob, and catch on fire.
What's wrong with? Wait a minute. Who says I can't use my flamethrower for self-defense?
Well, you live. Rob,
that hair be burning.
You live in a metal shack, so that might be okay where you live.
Yeah, that's between you, your insurance company, and Serve Pro. You can do whatever you want to do, brother.
You'll be smelling jet fuel and smoked sausage.
There you go. So, you guys got anything else on the side?
No, man, I think it's cool.
Yeah,
I like to see how it works.
Yeah, I hope they send me one out so we can actually run it in diversity shoots and get people pulling triggers on it.
Yeah, I hope.
Name one thing you don't want people to send you.
I want one to throw on this. This might be a little short.
It's a little short.
I got another one that's a little bit longer.
Yeah, Tony.
Gym memberships.
They're yep, or maybe salad. You know, yeah. I got you. So that was the Reap Weaponry Psi. Next up, we have the Lionheart Vulcan 9, MSRP is $12.99 on this. And this is basically the improved version of their, I don't even remember what the name was, but they're still their Lionheart pistol. Like I said, this is the Vulcan 9. It's the new version. And essentially, it's optic.
The reason you don't remember it is because it's called the Regulus, Regulus.
Well, I consider the first version a Daewoo.
Yeah, the Daewoo.
Yeah. So we're looking at the Vulcan 9. It's nowhere near like the Daewoo was, except for the action system. But it is red dot ready. Of course, their pattern accommodates basically RMS, C, RMR, CC, Romeo Zero Elite, Shield, Trigicon, RMR, CC footprint, or the 407, 507K. So it's basically an RMSC or an RMR CC footprint, which is cool because now you can put optics on it. Has fiber optic front now and blacked out rear. They're using SIG 365 dovetails, so you can change the sights out if you would like. They are lower third co-witness with most optics, it said. Has a J trigger shoe, which means, it's kind of shaped like a J, if you can figure that out. Actually, it kind of looks like this trigger. A lot that's in my 320, but they have this new rapid engagement grip system, which is basically a thumb pedal for your left thumb, so you can exert downward pressure to help control muzzle flip. That is built in to the grip. True Axis barrel system, and it's a 416 stainless barrel, nitride coated or DLC coated, depending on. It's flush fit 15 round magazines made by Mechcar. So you got those. Now you can get multi-tool optional base plate. So the base plate of it basically has it so you can put a Nano 2 tool in it so you can adjust your red dot sights. Just kind of pops into the bottom there, it looks like. Front and back front and back strap texturing, as well as the grips, of course. So you get that 9mm 7075 aluminum frame, steel slide, stainless barrel. Looks like one of the options will have tritium night sights. Now, the controls. It's double action plus trigger, which is ambidextrous safety and reversible mag release. The double action plus, if you know anything about their pistols, it's double action when it's down, but you can cock the hammer back and then you can push it forward. And basically your trigger goes forward, but that first part of the double action pull is light, and all it does is pull the hammer back, but not against spring pressure. And then it's a single action trigger pull after that. Or of course you can carry it or use it in the single action version. If you've never seen it, that helps a lot. But basically you cock the hammer back, you can push it forward, and it gives you a smooth, light double action trigger pull. Let's see if there's anything else. Grip CNC machined with G10. So the hammer is skeletonized spur hammer. Barrel length 3.7 inch for standard or 4.3 inch for threaded. And the total length is 6.9 or 7.5 with the threaded barrel. Slide width is 0.95 inches. Comes with two 15 round magazines. One includes the sight tool. 10 and 18 round are available soon. Weighs 24 ounces approximately, depending on options. I saw this a while back. I think Rusty and Tony have actually seen it. And I've always liked the concept of, like, the original Daewoo I thought was fine. And I liked the trigger system on it. And this is the upgraded. It has a rail. I hadn't mentioned that. The only thing I don't like about this, and it's not super critical, is the safety. I mean, you push it down like you would for fire, and it kind of angles down. but I would prefer it pivot from the rear as opposed to the front. It wouldn't be a deal breaker for me because of the way the safety sits. So I would prefer more of a 1911 style, but hey, you can't have it all. You get a lot for what this is. I mean, go ahead.
For me, for the price, I think somebody took a 365 and they give me what I wanted.
Well, it's larger than the 365.
Yeah. You know what I mean. They got the thread. You can get the threaded barrel version, and then they got it's got the machining on the slide is it's got cutouts in the cutouts.
Yes.
So it's got a lot of texture in it. And then I like the wraparound in it. I like the cutouts very much. And I like the two-piece where the optic goes. It's got the two different pieces where you can put the red dot on. I like everything about it. I mean, it's very innovative. And the J-style trigger is going to be a very light trigger pull. And the gun is, I mean, they're looking ahead at everything that, a lot of people are bringing out the same stuff, but just putting a different spin on it. But these guys are really doing something different. And they're coming out with something different. And they're trying to bring something out new. And I'm trying to formulate the words here.
Rusty, you got a good command of this English language there, brother.
Boy, I'm telling you what, it's really hit me today. I like the rapid engagement system is what I'm really trying to get at. I really like that. I mean, it's a really good system, and I held the gun at SHOT Show and I really liked it. But I think for the price and what you're getting, I think you're getting a really good gun. It's really nice. It's really well machined, really well put together. And there we go. Tony, go ahead.
Well, I checked it out because it's American made. It is a South Korean design, but it's American made. They do a lot of machining with this. We get caught up in a lot of stuff. It's hilarious to watch the industry fad in and fad out. So hammer-fired guns were just, you're doing that? Like, ill. And that was the last, 10, 15 years. Like, hammer-fired guns are dead. Hammer-fired guns are dead. Then you had the P226 come out with the Legion, and that gave it a little bit of life. And then Langdon Tactical did his magic on the Beretta 92. And all of a sudden, they're coming back in. And then all of a sudden, people start putting out more and more versions of the Glock with metal frame. And then Smith & Wesson comes through and make their metal frame. Well, this company's been out there the whole time doing this in America. They've gotten all the things you want on the gun. They have safety. They have their own trigger system that allows you to have a very good first pull instead of what a lot of these clowns used to say in training, that you're going to throw that first double action shot away and then you're going to have a smooth second shot. And it's like, no, they have it so you have a smooth first shot. So again, it's already combat proven. It's combat proven. It has a time. It served in the military, this design. And they got it straight from Korea, from Daewoo, put it in this gun, and it served for years. So I kind of dig it. This is the tactical with all the bells and whistles. It's got the gas pedal built in. It has all the things you want. I don't remember the base plate being anything at SHOT Show. Maybe this is something they added later on, but I know the guy never brought it up while I was standing there. I like the initial trigger pull. It's different. It's unique. And sometimes that's all it takes. If it's a quality gun and it's different. I think a lot of us sit there and look at things like Ian's Forgotten Weapons on YouTube and go, man, I wish I would have got one of those guns before they were worth, freaking $3,000. well, here are some of them, but when it's happening, you go, "There's a lot of money for this gun," and it's like, yeah, but it's totally unique. I think whose magazines does it use? Because it used. Does this one still use the Smith and Wesson magazines from back in the day?
It didn't. I couldn't find it anywhere, but they're McGar magazines, so I don't know if they are or not, or if they, for this particular gun, they came up with new magazines because it's got that different base plate. So who knows?
Because the initial ones actually used the old Smith rags.
Right.
Let's step back a little bit, and people want to talk about the double action trigger pulls, and you throw your first shot. How many old timers bobbed the hammers off their revolvers and shot, and you get a better. I know for myself, when I shoot my Security 6 and several other of my like GP100s and SP101s, if I stack that trigger nicely and I can still shoot fast with it, I still get very nice, clean, ragged holes stacking that trigger, shooting double action. So don't tell me that, and them are heavy trigger pulls that with this right here, you're throwing shots. It's all about how you run the gun.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I brought up, the AREX.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is one from AREX Defense, it's 01, all their guns. They still aren't American made. They still are made and don't have as many features as some of these. And at least this is supported here. So, and I'll throw this out there. In 2020, when there was a Unity Summit going on and we spoke at SHOT Show, this was the only firearms manufacturer that showed up and wanted to be part of bringing people together for the firearm industry. Everybody knew about it. It was put out there, something that goes on at SHOT Show. This was the only firearms manufacturer that showed up.
Which says something.
A lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plus, and really, if you look at the price, $1,300, and like Tony said, it's made in America, so it's not going to be as cheap as a Turkish gun or something like that. But
American-made metal guns.
Right.
American-made metal guns. Who makes them, and how much are they?
Exactly.
With these features.
Exactly.
So we're talking SIG, Smith & Wesson Performance, but I don't even think they have a tactical model out.
I'm sure they might. They have a competition model.
Of their metal gun?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
All right, and then we got
Ruger 19 SR11.
Yeah.
1911.
That's probably, but price range of it's up there too.
Red dot, ready barrel.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're getting into maybe the Beretta, but again, you don't have a threaded barrel on the Beretta.
Yeah, yep. So I got that, but yeah, I mean, I like it. I just, yeah. So that was the Lionheart Vulcan 9. So next up, C&H Precision has come out with some red dots. I put the EDC red dot in the show notes, partly because you could use it on the Lionheart because of the footprint. MSRP on this one is $249.95. And yes, that was my reasoning for putting this one in there. But this isn't it's called the EDC because, of course, it's a micro red dot, as you would put it. It has an RMSC cut or footprint, depending on how you want to look at it. Right now, red is available, but there is green and multi-reticle versions coming in the future. I think you can pre-order them. They're like $25 more, but either way, you get it. 10 levels of brightness, of course, 1 and 2 are night vision compatible. It's shake to wake up, as pretty much everything anymore is and should be. Auto off after 5 minutes of inactivity, 50,000 hours battery life, machined one-piece aluminum body, shockproof, waterproof to 1 meter for 30 minutes. You get the idea, but everybody's coming out with these. Lens diameter on this is 16 millimeters. Total windage adjust and elevation is 35 MOA. Total for 70, so that's off of 0. 1 MOA click value. It does run a 3 MOA dot. That multi-reticle version runs a 34 MOA circle also. So parallax free, of course. Runs a 1623 battery or 32, whatever it is. Weighs
Hey.
it, yeah.
It says shockproof for plus P and plus P plus ammo.
Well,
What's plus P plus and plus P plus ammo?
but it also says at
What's
the
caliber?
I know at the top it says 1500 G's for 1,000 times is what they tested it to. So I'm pretty sure plus P plus in any ammo that a pistol that this comes would fit on will work. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Rusty.
I just curious because I will get my 10 millimeter out with some Lehigh defense.
I don't think you're going to break it.
Okay, I'm just curious.
It weighs approximately 17 grams. It's 41 millimeters by 25 millimeters by 24 millimeters for the size. Like I said, they have they came out with not just this optic. It also has, like most RMSC cut, it's got a little iron sight in the rear of it. It is a side load battery. So unlike some of the other these little small RMSC footprints, you do not have to take it off to change the battery. That in itself is a big plus. It's out there. Like I said, they make one that's like, what's the the SRO size. And then they also make an enclosed version, which is larger, but they did come out with the sights. If you know anything about C&H Precision, they've been making like red dot adapters and milling slides for ages. So
I've seen this in somebody else's not too long ago with that same sight in the back of it.
Oh yeah, lots of a lot of the ones have it. It might have been the Gideon ones from JSD Supply.
Maybe I'm not sure, but the price is right on it. It's right in the same price range. And I tell you what, I mean, I'm assuming they're probably all coming from the same place.
Probably, or there's probably two factories in China that make them, and they all make them to whatever specs these companies want would be.
Yeah, but I mean, if the suppliers are standing behind the stuff, so be it. Run them, and the prices are right. And hell, the battery lives are 50,000 hours.
Yeah,
and if they're standing behind them, I'll run them. I mean, I run. The thing is, you might not get the most expensive, but you can get what you can afford. And you can run it, and if they stand behind it, that's what you got. Yep. And if they stand behind it and it works, run it.
Yeah, that's all you can do. And from my experience, and I think probably a lot of other people's, all of these new smaller red dots or these auto wake ones, that are in this price range are all fairly good. I mean, you never really hear any problems with them. Of course, as with all of them, if you drop them, there's a chance you could break the glass or pop the glass out of them, stuff like that.
Well,
but
you know what happened? What we said was going to happen.
What
we said freaking how many years ago when
5
it came out? Was it 5 years ago?
It's probably been about that.
We've been doing this.
Zane caused all this.
Well, but I
mean,
when the first red dots came out, besides the RMR,
Vortex started putting theirs out.
Yes.
When that started happening, they broke the code, and more companies are going to start putting these out, and we're going to get quality optics at a lower price. Mm-hmm. And we're in the middle of it. I mean, I don't even know what part of the swing we're in, but it's well on the way that brand new companies are popping up. And we're getting better and better for less and less. Now, I still think it's probably going to be between what is it? This is like 250?
Yeah.
It's going to be like 250 to 750 is going to be that spot that you can get a really good red dot that's not going to fly off. But speaking of fly off, one of the guys competing in Friday's event, the screws snapped off his SRO and hit him in the SRO hit him in the face while he was running the gun. So stuff still happens, and that's where this +P+ rating comes in on this. I'm like, yeah, it's great that the optic can handle it, but can the screws handle it? So that's something you need to know with different manufacturers.
Well, and
that's the deep part.
A lot of them are sending out multi-pack screws. So for different guns, different manufacturers, I get that a lot when I order my red dots. They'll send out, hey, this gun takes this screw length. So that's what you need to look at.
Yep. I will say this Zafari slide that I have, it came with screws, and it specifically said use these 2 screws, and I'm pretty sure that's why, is it gives you enough thread contact and stuff like that. And I was like, that works for me. But yeah, like there's, and I think like Tony was saying, there is one advantage to these smaller sights is they weigh a little less. So there is a little bit less chance that they may bust the screws because there's less mass moving back and forth. Also,
if you're going to carry this thing on a defensive firearm, there's less stuff for you to grab your clothes. I don't know if you guys watch Holy on Noir, but he did an interview with a guy that had to use his firearm in a self-defense scenario, and he had an RMR on his. And what happened was he trained at the range with just his T-shirt on, but when it was go time, he had his hoodie on, and he had to get it up, and the red dot caught on the hoodie, and it affected his grip and almost pulled his gun out of his hand as he was drawing on someone who'd already drawn down on him. And it was 2 guys, I think, if I remember the story correctly. He was able to put rounds on one guy and whatever. But the gun almost got snatched out of his hand because he said afterwards, I realized that all this stuff, flashlight, weapon on a light, red dot, all that's cool at the range. But when you're carrying it, you want less stuff to snag and catch up on your clothing. And he was like, and that's what happened. So having a smaller red dot that still has all the advantages of the red dot, it's just the window is smaller. I feel it still gives you the things you want in the red dot. It still gives you the ability to hit a target close range, because truthfully, you should do metal over meat and pull the trigger anyway. But it still gives you ability to have precise aiming at longer ranges too, quicker, and on moving targets. So I think maybe it offers the best of both worlds. I haven't shot enough red dot to have a educated answer on which is better, the compact or the bigger window for concealed carry. Hopefully I'll get that one day. But right now, just think about it that way, because people love poo-pooing new things, and I'm like, why don't you try it first? Why don't you try it first?
Yeah, and I'm gonna say one last thing, not on the CNH EDC dot, but in my opinion, for me practicing, now it might just be because it's a smaller gun, but my Glock 43 that has a small sight on it, my shirt does not get caught on it, or you don't feel it snag just a little bit. But if I'm running like my G19 with the Hollow Sun on it, and it's, the Hollow Sun's not a small, the 5.0 or whatever size it is, with the old school with the rounded top, you notice it. You notice it snag a little more. So I get that, but it's just because it depends on where you pull your shirt up, you feel it kind of drag over it different. So
yeah, I mean,
Tony, based off what you were,
go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, based off what you're saying, I think it stands to reason that get something and practice with it at home, even if you don't have ammo especially without ammo in your pistol. Practice dry firing. Practice with various clothes you wear. Hell, I have a garage, and I'll practice drawing my pistol for my motorcycle.
Yeah, exactly.
And you realize what a pain in the butt it is to try to keep a motorcycle balanced while you're trying to draw a pistol.
Well, that's why in the movies you always
about a big Harley Davidson.
That's why in the movies they always have the gun out. You never see them drawn from.
Well,
Yeah,
my
exactly.
issue is, I mean, it's cool to know that we have this as a small footprint, all well and good, but yeah, definitely what Rob's saying, practice, man, and practice with the clothes you wear. It doesn't have to be sexy. It's not going to be great, and practice the thing you're not good at. Look, this is about guns and gear, but we're talking about things that people are probably going to use to save their lives, and we don't bring it up a lot. Zane and I used to bring it up a lot more about training, but practicing is something that costs you $0.
Yep.
I mean, you can do it at home.
Yep. Cost you a little bit of time, but it might save your
Yeah.
life in the future.
I have tossed around for 2 years now with my 365 about putting a red dot on it, and I haven't because the reason why is I pocket carry it probably 60% of the time, and because I carry it in my pants pocket, my right front pants pocket, and because just the way I work, and in the wintertime when I'm in jeans and stuff, you'll see me with a G17, a variant of a G17. I call it my non-Glock Glock, and I will have with a red dot on it, and it's a 25, 20, or 27 millimeter window on it, red dot, and I practice it with a hoodie and a pulling out, and then sometimes I'll have my Canic, and it's got the same size window, and it is, and I practice, I pull that shirt all the way up, to where Rob likes it, all the way up to the nipples, pulling the shirt up, getting it out of the way, so you can get you get the gun out, I mean, because you don't want to get snagged,
Yep.
I mean, because that's one of the things. I mean, get it up, get it high, get it out, I mean, get it up, present it. You want to get it out of the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now that we're done on our tangent, that was the CNH Precision EDC red dot. I was waiting for Tony to say something about the golden age of red dots, but
Nope, because I don't think we're there yet.
hey. Yeah, okay, see? There you
I
go.
don't think we're there yet because we got
When the battery, when we don't need batteries, we're there.
And Holosun's working on it.
Yep.
Yep. So next up, the Civivi Q-Bert. MSRP is $78.70 on this little thing. I mean, I get why they called it a Q-Bert. It's their new button lock knife. The red one, red aluminum handles in the show notes. You can get black or blue or green, it looks like. I think they're all about the same price. But it's a thumb stud, not a flipper, but it is button lock. Overall length is 7.19 inches. It's 1.24 inches high. Let's see. Overall, it's 0.61 wide with the clip. It has a 2.9 inch blade, so it's not super long, which I guess is why they call it the Q-Bert. Closed length is 4.25 inches, basically. Typical 0.1 inch blade thickness. Handle thickness is 0.44 inches. It weighs 2.82 ounces. So it's running the 14C28N blade material. Of course, it has aluminum handles, pocket clip, tip up, left or right, stainless steel clip materials, thumb studs, it is their button lock. So that's what it is. I was like, yeah, this is a cool, cute little new knife from Civivi, the 14C28N. I think I have two of their knives in it. One of them they sent me, and I think the other one is the spiny dogfish.
How do you like the blade still on that?
I don't mind it. I would say it's about D2. If I'm going to
magnesium in it or manganese.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering, because it's a softer steel. It's like a 56ish, 58ish Rockwell's, and it's more compared to like a Kershaw kind of steel, like a CPM 154.
It's better than the like 14 or the.
It's better than the CRKT steel.
Or the like 9 or 10 CRMOV stuff that Kershaw and stuff uses. It's better than that. I do know it has you can get a nice edge on it. The edge does not last the D2 lasts a little longer for me doing the same stuff. Like I've sharpened this one once, just because it wasn't sharp enough for me.
Okay.
But, for the price, they use it a lot and I don't have a problem with it. It just kind of, like I said, you can get it sharper, I think, than the D2, but it doesn't last quite as long.
Do you lose it in your pants pocket?
No.
Okay. I mean, it's small. I'm not used to a small blade.
No. Well, this one happens to be like 2 or 3 and a half almost. But this little Q-Bert one is smaller, but it's just running the same blade steel. It's just your typical drop point. It's not a bad looking knife. I like.
No, not at all.
I like the fact it has that bottle opener on it when the thing is closed.
yeah. Or that's what everybody's going to use it for.
Yeah, I mean, actually one guy wrote in the review. He's like, I thought it would mess up the finish, but it didn't. He's like, so he uses a bottle opener.
Yeah.
My issue, I have no issue with it as long as it's a D2 equivalent, because at that price it needs to be.
Right.
At that price, it needs to be a D2 equivalent. I was reading more about like the ceramic ball bearing, cage ceramic ball bearing. So will it always be smooth? Will it collect lint? Can you take it apart and clean it easily? Those are some, legit questions. But having a knife that size, but having a good lock, it gives you a solid knife to use for stuff in your office without being super intimidating, because it's not that big of a blade. It doesn't look all crazy tactical.
Right.
It has a deep enough clip that it disappears in your pocket.
Yeah, and it comes in, just don't get the black one, get the red or the blue or the green, and it does not they don't look tactical. They're just a little, the green one is Damascus. It's their Damascus, so it costs more. But either way.
For me, the way I look at these things is they're under $100. I mean, I didn't look up anything else to see if you could find it for less anywhere else. I don't know if they're Knife Center or if they're Blade HQ.
I'm sure they're $10 cheaper, probably.
Yeah, and I think you can get discounts even on these prices if you get on the mailing list or something. But to have multiple knives that you can take, even if you're one of those people in a business environment, you got a lightweight knife with a decent working edge that's long enough. If you have to, you could fight with it if worse comes to worse. But for the most part, it doesn't hang off your office clothing. Like if you have to wear like dress pants, yeah, you're carrying around something like cold steel. It looks like you got an old school freaking brick phone in your pocket. But with something like this, it probably won't change the hang of your clothing. And you'll have a available weapon / tool on you if you need it. Because it's better to have it on you when you need it than have it at your desk, but you're not there.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So that was the Civivi Q-Bert. Now, Primary Arms seeks to provide you the best shopping experience for everything firearms. With over 13,000 products from your favorite brands, Primary Arms carries a complete selection of rifles, handguns, firearm parts, and shooting gear. And every order comes with a commitment to superior service, fast shipping, and an expert support team. So, our Primary Arms product of the week this week is the Break Arms Warhammer Mod 2 Micro AR-15 latch. These are like $45, but I saw them. They look like a cool charging handle. The Mod 2 Micro is it's a little narrower, so it's normal sizes, I would say, where the other is more extended. But it's there. I thought it was pretty cool, so I threw it in here.
Looks like the one that goes on top of the POF, right? POF, Patriot Ordnance Sight.
Kind of. It's similar. I don't know if it's the same or not, but
I think they call theirs a Tomahawk.
Yeah, but it's kind of the Radian Raptor style, that a lot of companies are using. So it's out there. You can sign up for Primary Arms newsletter and more by going to frn.deal/PA. And If you use the code Firearms Radio at Primary Arms and are buying a GLX 1-6 first focal plane with the ACSS Raptor M6 reticle, you will get a free deluxe AR-15 scope mount. And now, listener feedback. Scott wrote in, said, "Gentlemen," which right there he screwed up because he's talking to us, so it probably should just...
Yes, is he talking to us?
Yeah, I know. He's probably meant to send it into some other place.
The AR-15 podcast?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably Handgun Radio. They're kind of gentlemen over there.
Yeah, Chad. Yeah. Other Chad.
It says, "I'm currently constructing a precision 22 long rifle. It says, "I'm using parts from Kidd, Magpul, Fletcher, and Timney. I'm asking your advice to the optic to use for this rifle. I want the best value, not just the most expensive. I'm looking for a scope that will match the range and ballistic performance of the 22 long rifle for target shooting. I listen every week and I really enjoy your insight. Thank you and advice." He's really interested in what Rusty's opinion will be. So, Rusty, what would you recommend?
Okay, so it depends. My opinion is, depends on what you're shooting, what distance you're shooting. So I have several 22s, 22 long rifles. One of them I have the Swamp Fox 5x25, 50. They're Kentucky long rifle, I think. But you could shoot the wings off of a butterfly off that thing at like 50 yards with a 22 with it, and never miss. Then I've got several. I'm trying to think, what is it? The Nikon. I have the Nikon with a BDC that I shoot out with my A22 out to 350 yards because it's got the bullet drop compensator and the app. So it really depends on what you're shooting and the ammo. We all know the over magnification is going to get you every time. So I think quality is where you need to go. Vortex makes a really good Diamondback 22 long rifle scope for the money. And the reticle is good. And I think that you can't go wrong. I think it's about $275, I think, $250, somewhere through there. And it's got the hash marks and everything, and it's made just for the 22 long rifle. It's the rimfire scope. And then you can also look at Primary Arms, which is one of our sponsors, that has the ACS reticle, if I'm not mistaken. It's got the crow and the little bottle.
Yeah, the 1-6 like I have with the 22 long rifle reticle, yes.
But it depends on what you're shooting. I mean, are you looking at shooting at bottles and cans? Are you looking at shooting really tight, small groups?
Right.
That's my thing, because I've got several 22s. If you're building one, like I got a Feddersen barrel and a 1022, and that I shoot Appleseed with, and I've got a high magnification scope on it because I want to beat the hell out of everybody with this thing, and I crank the magnification up to see where my groups are at, and I turn it way back down to like 4 power to shoot my groups. Yep. And so you don't really, you can go with a $250 optic that's got good glass on it, because we're in that, like Tony always says, we're in that golden age of scopes right now. There's a lot of people. So you look at Swamp Fox, you can look at Primary Arms, Audible, Primary Arms. There's so many different manufacturers, and really you can look at somebody that's got dedicated 22 scopes, and get one, and just do your research and look at what you're shooting for. If you're looking for hunting, what is it? The BSA, they're really good for hunting. I've got one of those. I mean, the BSA 22 scopes. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, that's kind of a loaded question, and I know that's a broad answer.
Right. And I was going to give him a broad answer too, but I was going to say, like, the 1-6 Primary Arms ACSS that I have, if I'm just plinking at like 200 yards at like 12-inch steel targets or something just for fun, it's not enough magnification for me because I'm old. I can still, it still gets me there. But if I want to shoot something smaller, it's like, nah, it's okay. But out to 100 yards, yeah. Or if you're hunting something, a 1-6 is fine because you're not doing that.
Well, my AR-22, I got a 2x7 Monstrum.
Right.
And I think I paid $70 for it.
Exactly.
But I shoot squirrels in the head with it all day long at 30 yards.
Right. And exactly. Tony, Rob, you guys got any ideas? I got something else, but I'll wait till you guys throw stuff out there.
I mean, I'm on the Vortex website right now because I was going to go Diamondback, but they've also got the Crossfire line, which is a decent entry line. For $200, you can get a 3-9 or a 4-12. I mean, I forgot what scopes I've got on my 1022s, but the ones I got, I all bought from like Tactical Solutions, and those things are freaking tack drivers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm literally, we were at the range about a year ago, and we're shooting tennis balls on a string at 100 yards, and just bouncing them all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Until somebody shot the string, then the tennis ball fell down, so now we're hitting tennis balls off dirt.
Right. Right.
Which is fun, too.
Yeah. Tony?
All right, so what I've been looking at, because he said he was building a precision 22.
Right.
Now, I don't know if it's for competition or not. That was what had it up in the air for me.
Me too.
If you're doing something for competition, what you need to do is go to blogs, Reddit posts, that kind of stuff, or you can go to competitions and see what they're using. Before you spend your money, at least do some more research of the people that are doing the thing you want to do. Now, I mean, that means if you're in competition. If you're just having fun clinking, shooting 22, but you want it to be as precise as possible because you're there for your own entertainment, then maybe you're going to freaking blast some varmints and pest or even do some honey. But that's a different animal, and maybe you want to get something that rides the rails between the two. But I would actually do research on specific, because you asked a broad question. So get it down to specifically what you want to do with it, and then research on that particular one because people got a lot of information. If not just general purpose, like you can do anything. Like how far are you shooting out to, and how much target identification do you need? How much light gathering ability do you need? And what's your price range? I mean, all of those enter into it. What are you doing? What's the price range? What do you need it for?
Yep. And I'm going to throw out because you guys already threw stuff out there. I'm going to throw one out there that's, $550 or something, because I have it on that air rifle, and there is a review I did on it. And the reason it works for an air rifle is the same reason it would work for a Target 22. And that is and I just love this scope. It's the Athlon Midas HMR HD. It's a 2.5 to 15. And it has a reticle that's just a bunch of basically MOA marks. And it's second focal plane. But I'm like, it's a 22. I'm not concerned about it. And the ballistic programs will tell you anything anyway. But yeah, MSRP on it's like $650, but the glass is fantastic. The parallax adjustment will adjust it down so you can shoot something 10 yards away. 2.5 power will give you low power that you could still shoot moving rabbits or something with it if you wanted to, but the 15 will give you that really good magnification if you are shooting your 22 out at 250 yards.
What was the guy's name that sent the review in? Scott?
Which was, yes.
Scott, okay, so here's my thing. If you're shooting with a buddy or whoever you're shooting with or you're going to shoot with, find out what they're shooting. If they're shooting the MOA or whatever, and use the same thing they're shooting.
Yeah, MOA or mill. Yeah.
Yes, because if they're calling wind for you and you're using something different, you're going to have a bad day trying to figure out if they're saying 3 mils or 3 MOA, and you're shooting and they're calling wind for you and you've got something different. You're going to have a bad day at the range, because I've been there. You're trying to figure this crap in your head, and you're shooting precision, and especially with a 22, and you're stretched out at a 200-yard range, so you're shooting precision 22. and you're stretched out there at 200 yards, because a lot of those guys are shooting those precision 22 matches. Those they stretch them things way on out there, and they're using those Aguila rounds and stuff, or Ely.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are amazing when they've got those. What is the black? Who's the manufacturer of those rifles? Black. I can't think of the name of it now. And they manufacture like the CZs and stuff like that. They trick them out. But anyway, they trick those guns out, and they'll outshoot some of your 308s. But yeah, just find out if your buddy's using MOA or Meals or whatever, get the same thing that your buddy's using, and go with that.
Right.
Find out if you're just hunting with it, or you're doing precision by yourself, or if you're shooting competition, dig deep and go into the forums like Tony said and do that. Or if you're just building it as a bench gun, go with something that's going to help you out, because most of my shooting is based on a hunting perspective or just my own informal shooting. So I don't shoot a lot of competition, very rarely. I shoot like Appleseed stuff mainly, and that's not like, or I might shoot a little still challenge maybe once or twice a year, but most of mine is hunting because I put meat on the table. And so or we hang clothespins up at 25, 50 yards and shoot, for, a couple times a year. And that's about it. But most of ours is hunting, and there were just a bunch of guys get together and we bet who can knock those clothespins off. And we start losing a lot of money that way because we shoot $5 a clothespin.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you got to be on your game, when it comes to that. And then, you start losing a lot of money in your wallet. So, but just do your research, and you don't have to go to the most high end, but there's a lot of manufacturers out there, and we have a lot of them on the show that have some really great optics that would do you right. And if you get something, you don't have to have a dedicated 22 scope, because you can dope that thing out and write down on your dope card where this optic is hitting at certain distances if you have a good rangefinder.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
And let's not forget this. If you do go to these competitions and you're not buying it for a competition, or even if you are, these guys will have view scope, because maybe they started in the budget arena and they've upgraded, and you'll be able to get a used, in good condition optic that somebody else already ran through, but it works. They're just upgrading. Or somebody's getting out of the sport altogether and they're trying to get rid of their stuff. So never forget that.
Yeah.
I got 2 or 3 Simmons laying in there on the shelf right now.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
Scott, I hope that answered your question, or it just gave you tons of more.
Fuse the shit out of you.
Exactly. So now that that's done, Tony can tell us about diversity shoot events.
The next diversity shoot is coming up at the Recoil Range. So I can't wait to see you guys Thursday. We're going to be there, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We've already sold a significant amount of tickets. So help us out. Come on out. I'm putting together packages now for giveaway, raffles, whatever, because we're trying to raise funding to get me out to train and learn in St. Louis. If you want to donate to something like that, please do. You can also go to PayPal, type in 2A4E. I should pull it up because they have a PayPal Me account. I think that's what they call. We're trying to get a bunch of different things. I want to get Zelle up. I want to get PayPal, Cash App, and what's the other one?
Venmo.
Venmo. We want all that stuff on the website. So because people, and also not GoFundMe. No, forget them. Give
Only
Send,
fans.
Go.
Yeah, give, send, go.
Send, go. Give, send, go, because GoFundMe has proven that they're listen, if all of a sudden your cause is deemed not politically correct, they will take your money and give to other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did to the truck drivers in Canada. Instead of refunding the money back to the people that donated, they just gave the money to charities of their choosing. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. So that's what we're doing. Also, if you and I've also stopped using Patreon. So if you're donating to my Patreon, back off. Just don't. I'm done with them too. So I'm going to find an alternative to them because it's just not working out with them. They had their bank issues, and I haven't received my money this year yet.
Yeah.
And we're on month 5. So help us out, diversityshoot.com. We have the schedule up for the rest of the year. I had to cancel the Great Plains Expedition, the Great Plains Diversity Shoot Expedition, because, again, of funding. Working on a 501c3, so hopefully by the end of summer, we might have something going so we can get funding so I don't have to beg for money. I don't have to hold raffles. I can hold raffles because we got fun stuff going on, not hold raffles because I need to make, the bills, to pay the bills so we can go somewhere or host something. So diversityshoot.com, you want to help us out, you want to do the work. I'll be contacting Reap Weaponries, and hopefully they give us their SI, and I can tell you how it is, and we can have them on maybe after some time, and we run it through, and I make sure the sucker works, and we can introduce people to firearms with this guy.
There you go.
We'll talk about it.
So
thanks a lot. As always, we've grown, we've changed, but we're still here, and I really appreciate you letting me talk about this every week, guys.
I tell you what, folks. This thing drops Friday, right?
Yeah.
All right. Next Friday, when this thing drops, I'll send Tony $100. Anybody want to match me? $100. We'll get Tony out there to the train and learn event out there. That's half of his ticket.
Nice.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Anybody got a hair on their ass that don't match me on this? How many downloads we get?
Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah. So that's awesome, Rusty.
You'll get it, Tony.
Yeah. So send questions, comments, or feedback to gungearreview@gmail.com. If you want to match Rusty's money there, you can send it to Tony. I'm sure you could find him. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review somewhere. You can check out all the other great shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.net. Don't forget to visit the Firearms Insider at firearmsinsider.tv for links to everything, as you already probably know. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Firearms Insider. Please check out all our great sponsors, and don't forget that you are listening to the largest pound-for-pound podcast on the network, and we are out.
Hey, if you want to reach me, it's Tony at diversityshoot.com. If you want to donate, we can figure it out together. And Epstein didn't kill himself.